Do you know the worrying thing is Richard Milky Quayle's just arrived and given me a car key. Hang on, I'll just get mine as well. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, good morning to him. Good morning to Christy DeHaven. There's more messages coming in. Are you checking that? Richard, you're saying that the Mountain Road shut. Don't talk yet because you're a bit out of breath.
We've had no notification that the Mountain Road shut, actually, so okay. I cannot confirm that.
More messages in?
Yeah, we've had quite a few messages. I'm going to go to one to start with. That's not actually, well, it's sort of TT related, but I've had a lovely message in from Gary and Kirsty who say, what do you and your guests do on sunny spare days? Do you have a favourite spot on the island to go to?
John Barton.
Well, what did we do? Yesterday, I got up nice and early, came and prepared my bike, and then we went for a nice lunch, and then we went down to Laxey Beach for ice cream and carrot cake.
Lovely.
Nice.
Beautiful, it was, yeah, beautiful. Get down to the shed, Laxey Bay.
Oh, here we
nice
go.
Awesome.
Oh,
it is good though.
Anything for free, Barty. Yeah, anything for free. Yeah, it is nice down there. Other establishments in Laxey are available.
Of course, yeah, no, they're all very good.
They're all very good as well. Yeah, we like all of them up there. What about you, Keith? Obviously, you've been coming to the Isle of Man a long time. Obviously, your friend Jonathan lives down in Castletown. What do you like to do just to go? Same question, really.
To be honest, well, I actually thought I was going to have a day off yesterday, but the glamorous life that has been a bike racer, Johnson and I ended up moving house. Yeah, so that was kind of scrapped my day off. And it was sunny, but yeah, it's nice just to go out and see different bits of the course and meet different people. I enjoy doing it. I really enjoy going to Gorsley, but I can't watch when the boys are coming past.
Can you not?
No, it makes me feel sick.
It's all changed there at Gorsley now, isn't it? They've taken like
Yeah.
that one of the buildings down. It's all flattened a bit, yeah.
Yeah, and they've restricted the access a little bit more, yeah. So unless you get there really early, you kind of struggle to see much. But I just love that bit of the course. I mean, I used to love it when I raced there. I used to hold my breath every time I went in there. So I often go there thinking I'm going to be brave and watch people, and I watch one bike go past and think, no, that's enough for me. Like, I'll just listen now.
Do you know, it's amazing the amount of racers we have and ex-racers who say that when they go out and watch on the track. John McGuinness was a case in point. Yeah. You know, a place like the bottom of Hilbury and things like that, and they kind of go, oh, no, do I really do that? Do I really do that? Hopefully he's got his breath back. Richard Milky Quayle. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing?
I'm all right. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Been a busy boy this morning.
Yeah, I've been up since 5:30, lapping the circuit. So
what have you been doing?
Just had some race sponsors that were over, just flown in for the day. So they just want to have a little bit of a run round before they see the actual bikes go off. So it's just nice to take them round around the circuit. And the road's a bit quiet at that time of day as well, so you can get the throttle down a little bit. So
I've got to ask you about obviously some of them that maybe have not been here for the first time. What's their impressions?
They're just blown away by it. You can't be. It's the best place in the world to be, isn't it? So yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. So they just I love taking the newbies out and the virgins out, as I would say to the old man. Playing with some virgins, I love it. Yeah. They love it. They're just blown away with the nature of the circuit, the scenery, just everything just blows them away. So yeah, I mean, these people have all come all the way from America just for today's race. So
just for today, they're just going to see today's racing and then go home tomorrow possibly.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, where about in America are they from? Did you ask them?
Oh, from all over, Dallas, Texas, LA.
Oh,
yeah. So they were from all over really. So,
blimey.
But again, they were just like we couldn't get over the mountains, so we came the coast road. So I gave them a bit of the scenic tour around
the Laxey tour.
Yeah, singing the Laxey.
I bet you did, didn't you? I bet you did as well. You should have stopped at Robbie Black's house for a cup of tea.
In a hot tub with him.
No, still in the mines.
Yeah. so they, like I say, they're just blown away by their scenery, like most people are when they come here. The Isle of Man's a beautiful place outside the motorbike racing. It's a beautiful place, isn't it? So, so they love it. They love it.
It's an interesting thing that listening to you talk about it, because obviously as a local and also obviously race yourself, does it give you a bit of a head start being from the island and knowing the roads to go out on the TT, or does it make it harder to sort of switch that mindset from public roads to race course?
Initially, I think it helps you, obviously, because you know the sequence of bends and stuff you're coming to, so that's always good. But at the top level, the lads know it just as well as I do. You know, all the top lads know it just as well as everybody else. And I think in some ways it hinders you a little bit. You know, obviously I remember speaking to John about Quarterbridge, and I used to say, I hate Quarterbridge. You can go around there faster on a push bike than I go around. And he says, I attack it as fast as I would do at Redgate at Donington Park. And you see, for me, I see it in the winter. I see it when there's diesel there and there's snow and the ice. And so
Let's not talk about diesel.
Yeah. You know all about quarterage, don't you?
Oh, don't go there. It might have been diesel actually.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was maybe a bit of snow, Keith, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, a bit of snow and ice.
Didn't he land? Didn't he land in about the same spot as Barry Sheen? I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was painful, that one.
I know it was.
I didn't enjoy that much.
Yeah, the Isle of Man is definitely showing off its best side, isn't it? I mean, we obviously had that Gary Barlow chap here last week, and he was going around doing some stuff for one of their magazines. And everywhere he went, the pictures that we saw. First off, he had a tank top on, so have a word with yourself. One of those vest things he had on. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Yeah, looking like that, holding a kind of Stella at the chasms, and it's like, really and truthfully, come on. But he really portrayed the Isle of Man in a great place. Every picture they had, the Isle of Man looked absolutely fantastic. And he's got away, and he's going to tell the story like those American chaps and chapesses. They're going to go back to America and go, hey y'all, did you see the Isle of Man TT? You've got to go there. Watch this on Fox Sport or whatever it's on, because obviously the Greenlight Boys have got to go all over the world. I know last night's programme was simulcasted, so like that simulcast. That's the word for today. That is a big old word. That. Any other questions for the chaps, Chris? What do we got?
Yeah. It's an interesting one. I suppose it's more for Johnny Milky. How do you pick the newcomers for the TT, and what are the differences from the Manx and the TT newcomers? What are the differences for them?
Well, like Johnny was saying earlier, I was listening to him on the radio coming in here.
How did he sound, by the way? Was he all right?
Oh, very good. Very professional.
Very eloquent.
You're proud. He's proud.
Kidders, watch your job, mate. Watch your job.
Crack on, party here.
No. Ultimately, again, they're looking at now today with Google and stuff. If anyone applies for the TT, we can always look at the name and see who they are. I mean, there's no holes to hide from anymore. So, in the old days, it was you could say you were the ex-world champion, and people, then let's give you an entry. Whereas now we can research them on the internet even before as they put the entry in. So, again, we only ever really take now that for the TT, because the TT is so fast and furious now. The newcomers have to be up to speed straight away. They can't spend all practice week looking over the hedge and looking around and looking at the scenery. They need to be straight on point. So, we select them as regards to the CV and make sure they've got a good racing CV. It's just like applying for a job. So they need to make sure that they're up to speed and they're capable of going at speed. And then we bring them over. We have a look at them, see whether they're up for the job. Initially, the first trip is always an analysed job for us as well as with Bart. We make sure that they are capable of doing what we want them to do. So. And then we just go from there. Then pass on our experience as regards to making sure they're good. So, like I say, you need to have a good racing CV and be up for the job. So that's the main criteria really for the TT.
Have you ever had anybody that's applied for it and you've turned round and says no, but then they've obviously been quite a good racer and they're all right, but you've got them over here and you've assessed them and they've had a look round and they've gone, this is not for me. I still want to do it, but this is not for me. Have you had anybody, obviously don't name names, but have you ever had anybody that's done that?
Well, no, I'm sure I can name a name and I'm sure you won't mind. He's actually in this paddock now. He's racing the TT. Daly Mattison was the first one. We brought Daly over when he was quite a young lad, and the first time we said, look, Daly, you're not ready for it. You need to go back and get a bit more experience and, effectively grow up, I suppose, because Daly was quite young when he first came over. I think he was only about 18, 19, wasn't he, I think. So, and again, he's gone back, he's learned, he went through the Manx and he built his way up, got his speed up at the Manx Grand Prix and then come up into the TT now, and look where he's doing now. He's riding really, really well now.
All the Scarboroughs and places like going really well, doesn't he? Yeah.
So,
what would it mean then if we didn't have the Manx, if we didn't have the Grand Prix for the newcomers? What would it mean if that wasn't around?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment the Manx now has got to a stage where now it's actually a feeder ground. Like we got Mikey Evans, Jamie Williams that have all come up from the Manx Grand Prix this year. Young Harrison as well, so they're feeding it in. And it used to be where it was like chalk and cheese, whereas now they've actually upped the speeds, and the lads now are coming up from the Manx. They're doing the time at the Manx, building the speed up gradual, and they're coming into the TT. So it's a good feeder ground now as it is. It never used to be. It dropped off a little bit. So now it's feeding into the TT really good. So.
Yeah, there's loads have made the jump up from the Manx this year. Jonathan Perry, Richard Charlton, and there's quite a lot have made that little jump up into thing, and it's dragged them on, isn't it? It's dragged them on a couple of mile an hour. Of course it will.
It does. I mean, I started through the Manx Grand Prix. That's exactly.
Does that lap record still hold? Does it?
I think it does for 250.
I think it does.
So.
I thought you'd get that in at some point.
Thanks, Chris. I'll pay you later, mate. I'll pay you later.
That's all right, Rich. Because that 250's up at the museum, isn't it?
That's
Derby,
correct.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. 600 and 250 up there. So yeah.
Instead of being in the house anymore, so yeah. Anyway,
Keith, do you remember? Tell us about your very first road race. Then, what was that like?
My very first road race.
Yeah.
I think it was Cookstown actually. When I was riding for Yo Duncan, I was teammates with Cameron Donald. And and I think I was just expected to sit back and toe the line, but I won the first Superbike race.
Yeah.
And Cameron was not best pleased. But I enjoyed it. I mean, it just sucked me in after that. I mean, I couldn't wait, and then obviously I came here in 2007 for the first time, and it's welcome to the TT.
I think you, well, it is right, actually. You actually held the lap record around Cookstown on the 600. It stood for quite a few years, didn't it? The 600 lap record. The whole event lap record, the outright lap record, was held by you on a 600 for a long time.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember what happened. The Superbike had broke down or something, rather than I ended up going out with a little 600, and I had to start from the second group or something. And I think Ryan and Michael and I can't remember who else was kind of battling in front of the first group, and we were tangling each other up, and I had a clear road, so I managed to get through and win the race from the second wave. So I really enjoyed most of them, to be honest. I mean, I think they were all different races, had different things that appealed to me, but nothing was quite as exciting or as daunting actually as this place.
And you won the Ulster Grand Prix?
Yeah, I had real good time in the Ulster Grand Prix. Luckily enough, I'd managed to discover the BMW 1000RR before anybody else did.
Yeah.
And 2010 was a good year for me. I won the, I think, the Superstock race at the Northwest 200, and then we went to we came here, and I struggled a lot actually because we couldn't get the setup on the bike. But yeah, we went to the Ulster, won the Dundrod 150 race. I was actually battling with Hutchie. It was the first race that he'd done after the TT, and his bike expired. So yeah, it just taught me you definitely need a little bit of luck for this place.
Certainly do. Yeah, so yeah, Cookstown. I do remember you being at Cookstown that year, actually. Was it dry? I can't remember. Was it dry? I think it was dry, actually.
It was dry, yeah.
It was dry, yeah.
It's never dry at the Cookstown, is it?
No, it was that year.
Milky just shaking his head.
Oh my God.
I think the next year I actually went and I ended up going through a hedge.
Yeah.
My gear shifter had come slack and fell off, and I panicked and hit the back brake, and I just went backwards right through a hedge.
Oh dear.
I remember sitting there thinking, and watching Ryan go past. I thought, you.
Yeah.
Well held.
Well held. Just on 8:29 and a bit now here on Manx Radio TT. A very good morning to you. It's race day, of course. Wednesday it is. Unbelievable. It's the 6th of June already. We've got Richard Milky Quayle, we've got John Barton, we've got Keith Amor in the studio, and we're going to get some more chat from them guys, and of course including the weather at about 8:40.